Okay, this is working now. To explain, I haven't put anything up in a long time because we updated our old computer and it kind of lost our ability to record. I don't know. I'm very uneducated as to how these things work, but that's just the first thing I wanted to say. So forgive me for not having been a little more attentive to this. And the last time I put anything up, it was a bit lighthearted, but I started back in 2008 because of Proposition 8, which was to amend the California Constitution to disallow same-sex marriage or marriage equality. We now have this question coming forward in 4 states. Maine, Washington. I'm sorry, I really should know what these are. Oh, another thing, shave the mustache for a little bit. I'm growing it back, so those of you who are not used to seeing me like this, don't worry, it'll be back in just a bit. Anyway, there are 4 states, and Washington, Maryland, Maine, and, oh heavens, I think it's Michigan. We're having trouble. We may have just lost Maryland because of a bit of stupidity on the part of Gaudelet University. I'll get into that in a bit. But once again, we're hearing some of the same old tired arguments from people who are using their religious opinions to decide what public policy should be. Now, I got into a bit of a flame war. There was recently a young man who was a scout and had done everything to earn his Eagle badge. And when his scoutmaster, when he first approached his scoutmaster about his project, which was about diversity and tolerance, he told the scoutmaster that he was gay. Now, this is a 17-year-old boy. Now, some people seem to think, well, a 17-year-old should have known better than to join the Scouts. He joined the Scouts when Cub Scouts, before he was pubescent. Many people don't know the completeness of their sexuality when they're 7 or 8. And then, he went through the Scouts, and a lot of people seem to think that he was being dishonest. Oh yeah, well, the moment he had any fantasies about other boys, he should have come running to the Scoutmaster and say, I must be removed, I am a threat to the Boy Scout organization. Well, he was just a normal kid. Anyway, his diversity project earned him his badge, but when the leaders of the Boy Scouts found out that he was gay, they said, no, you don't fulfill our definition of a person who is morally straight. They don't mean heterosexual. They just, morally straight is by their definition, which they take to be a biblical definition, yet I'm not going to get into that. But anyway, I got into a flame war with this man who was going on. First he said, homosexuality is unnatural. Unnatural, okay. So I wrote back to him and I said, okay, for the sake of argument, discussion between us, let's define something as natural as something that happens in nature without the interference of man. And I said, there are over 1,500 species which engage in homosexual behavior. To which he came back, no there isn't, no there isn't, no there isn't. Yes, there is, and I cited a study which showed this. No. I cited another study which said the same thing, and I cited one which showed that there was a heavy preponderance among certain higher mammalian species and avian for exclusive homosexual behavior. No. And I cited sources again, including some of the foremost in the world, Jane Goodall and the Cousteau's father and sons, who observed these behaviors. and wrote about these behaviors and lectured about these behaviors. But no. It was just dominance displays where they just sort of mount and dry hump the other. No. I explained that it was full-on sexual behavior to the point of orgasm, full penetration. It's not possible, blah, blah, blah. Well, yes, it is. It's on videotape. It's shown. Well, it's extremely rare. No, it's not. In certain populations, such as swans, specifically black male swans, it's a 20% population that is exclusively homosexual. Never came back to that. It went from extremely rare to very rare. So I then said, well, with most bonobo chimpanzees, I didn't use chimpanzees. I said bonobos. It's a figure of about 30 to 45% of males and females engage in predominantly, and in some cases, I will say, exclusively homosexual behavior, unless the female is in estrus. Then she's driven by the hormones in her body and the male by the hormones in his to mate. But the moment the mating's done, they go back to their same-sex partner. And animals do have sex for pleasure, believe it or not. I had somebody many years ago, oh, animals don't do it, it's painful. Like, yeah, they do. They like it. Well, how do we know? Well, because scientists have put electrodes into the brains, and they've noticed that when animals had sex, that there was a relief in endorphins and all the attributes of orgasm. So, yeah, animals kind of enjoy it. Anyway, it went from extremely rare to very rare to rare. Then I pointed out other populations and behaviors. Then it became rare, then not common. Then he just left that all alone, wouldn't come back to that, and kept saying that I was lying and there was no proof. And I said, I would cite study after study after study. They said, you people only make up 1% of the population or less than that. And I said, well, here's studies that show it's anywhere from 3% to 15%. Oh, you're lying. How would you know? Well, bisexuals, people who are closeted. Well, if they're in the closet, they don't reveal themselves. Well, actually, they do if they're guaranteed privacy. No. It's like, well, here's the studies, here's the science, here's the... Refuse to accept it, but eventually Whitney told me to stop arguing with the man. He was not going to change, but I was putting my arguments out there for other people. Now I'm going to continue this because Facebook doesn't like it. Not Facebook. YouTube doesn't like it when these things are too long. This will be continued.